Hey everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 21st of October. This is episode 51, so we're one away. Let's go down the line like we always do and say hello. So how's it going, Hernan?
Hey everyone, it's good to be here.
Hey Marco, what's up?
Hey everybody, what's happening?
And Bradley, how's it going?
What's up, everyone?
All right, well, we just got a few announcements to run through today before we get started. The first one, hopefully everyone that's on right now is going to be here next week, because next week will be episode 52. That's going to be 1 year of Hump Day Hangouts. We're pretty happy about that, and I'll let Bradley say some more happy things about that in a minute. But I just wanted to tell everybody we are going to be doing another contest. We did one a few weeks back. We're going to be giving away 6 months of Masterclass, 1 month free of the Video Powerhouse, all right, which hasn't even been released publicly yet, but we're going to hook somebody up with that. And then we're going to give away an IFTTT network. That's all going to be done through our campaign like we did last time, where you can send a link, share it, and get chances to win that way. And then someone attending live is going to win 3 months free of Mastermind. All right, so keep that in mind. Hopefully that's some good incentive for you to be hanging out with us next week live. So.
Yeah, so the more times you share the share link, the better your chances are. So share the hell out of it.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll be sending out some more information about that. Obviously, we'll give you the link and all that, so you can get going on that and have a good chance to win. Also, just wanted to say that we're going to be doing a meetup in Costa Rica. So our mastermind members are going to get the first chance to do this. This is going to involve some kind of higher level training as well as some networking opportunities. But that's going to be in February 2016. So we'll be telling them more about that. And then if there's some spots left over, which we doubt, but there may be a chance for some other people to go.
Very good. All right, so other than that, I don't think we really had any other announcements. Yeah, next week is going to be the big one because it's going to be 52 weeks straight of every single Wednesday. We haven't missed a single one, so bearing, provided that nothing catastrophic happens between now and next Wednesday, that will be our 1 year anniversary, which is, in my opinion, quite a feat because that's pretty much unheard of. I don't know of any other group out there that does SEO training on a weekly basis for free and does it for a year. Oftentimes they'll do it for a few weeks, maybe a few months, but we've been doing it for 52 weeks, and I'm quite proud of it if you can't tell.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, there's no plans to stop. So we're not stopping it
going.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think next month in November, we're going to be, the 5 of us are finally, my partners and I are finally going to meet face to face because we've never done that yet. We've built this business via Hangouts, basically. And so we're finally going to meet face to face in Miami next month. And so I think that week we're going to be off. We're going to take a week off then, which is the week of November, I think it was what, November 18th?
15th, something
17th,
like that.
18th, something like that. It would be
Either that or we can broadcast all together as a nice one group.
Well, no, because I'll be at the Internet Summit in Raleigh.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, by the way, anybody wants to go to the Internet Summit in Raleigh, North Carolina, that's next month. I think it's the 17th, 18th, and 19th, or something like that. Anyways, go join it. Just ping me in Google Plus and let me know, and maybe we can all meet up for a drink or something. I already talked to some of our people in Mastermind that are going to be going, so I think that'd be kind of cool. If anybody else ends up going, let me know, because I'll definitely be there. I'd love to meet up with some of you also. But just that, like I said, that month or that week, which would be Wednesday, November 18th, we're probably going to be off unless, of course, Adam and Hernan and them want to do it without me, which is totally up to you guys. But I think we deserve a week off. So, yeah. All right. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and get into questions. I'm going to grab the screen, and we'll jump right into stuff. Okay, cool. All right. By the way, I think we still got 58 people coming. What's interesting is Google Hangouts or events is not letting me invite people like I used to. It says could not send invitations every time I try to do an invitation to other than 2 circles, our mastermind circle and then one that I call Hump Day Hangouts, which are people that have attended in the past. Those are the only 2 circles that I can send this event to as an invitation. And I don't know why, because I used to always be able to send it out to about 2,000 people in various circles that I have, and now it won't allow me to do it. And I don't know why, what happened with Google Plus, but it's pissing me off because but it looks like our attendance is still pretty damn good for not being able to actually send it to everybody. So hopefully a lot of you guys are returning. Come often because you're used to coming, and that's great. So it's just we're not getting as many new people onto these as I would like because I'm not able to invite them, but that's okay. All right, let's go start with Sky. He says, when creating web pages, what is the best way to structure for keyword phrases? For example, if your target is ripe red apples and you have ripe in the domain name already, would you name the HTML file? Okay, so I guess he's building HTML sites. Ripe red apples or just ripe red apples, since ripe is already in the URL. Let's say you have a file path www.ripe.com/apples/red. Is this better than ripe.com apples red ripe? That's what I would do. Sky,
Yeah.
your first example. Did you want to chime in on that, somebody? I heard somebody.
Yeah, I was just saying, just agreeing. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's too much, and it even looks
Spammy.
off. If you just it doesn't read right. So.
Yep. Nope. I would absolutely go with the first version. Guys, I've said this for 2 years now, or a year and a half at least. Anyways, I always try to keep my URLs as short and succinct as possible. The days are gone where you used to have an exact match domain, then a category with the exact match keyword, then the post title with the exact match keyword, which would be create the permalink, or the slug for the post would be and remember, that's what we used to do, guys, 3-4 years ago. I mean, I do a lot of tree service work, so I would have tree service plus city would be the exact match domain. Then I would have the page as tree service plus city, or tree removal plus city, or tree trimming plus city, and that's just the way we did it, and it worked. But those days are gone, and in fact, that will cause your site to not perform as well. All right, so I always try to keep the URLs as short and succinct as possible, where it's logical, and that's it.
Yeah, Sky, you could also add some synonyms to it, like I've seen those long. I know that what you're saying, Bradley, because short URLs are usually more easily inserted in social media, for example, in tweets. But you can also use, and the main idea here is to use synonyms so that you can get ranked for several other keywords. So either that, or you keep it as short as possible.
Yeah, and Moz came out with their survey for 2015 search ranking factors survey that they do every year. This is not the same as the search metrics thing, guys. This is not the same, but it's interesting. But if you go through here, I don't know where it is. I can't find it right off the top of my head. But if you go through some of their survey data here, which is correlation data and survey data, go through this. Just go search it in Google, by the way. It's just go search for 2015 search ranking survey or search ranking factors, whatever you want. And it's the Moz article. But if you look into it, that's actually a ranking signal as also having a short or succinct URL. Shorter URLs tend to rank better than longer URLs. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I try to keep them really short and succinct, and that's not why I did it. Was because it's a better ranking signal. I just do it because I like to try to keep the URLs looking as clean and neat as possible. And you don't need to do that anymore, where you're getting the exact match keyword into the URL. It's not necessary, because it's more important to have it in the SEO title and then to have it in the content on the page than it is to have it in the URL. Okay. All right, Wayne says, hi, authority. Oh, yeah, I saw this actually, Wayne. I downloaded it. I still didn't open it, though, yet. But thank you for that. And by the way, guys, anybody looking for really good services as a white label program that you can resell with really good pricing, and I won't make any money off this at all for telling you guys this, but Marketer Center, the guy's name is Andrew Scherer, marketercenter.com. He's got a really, really good service, and his prices are such that you can white label the services. In other words, he sells like wholesale link building services, citation building, a whole bunch of different services that he sells that you can mark up and put your own branding on and resell to clients or whatever. And I use a lot of his services, guys, and he's really, really good. His name's Andrew Scherer. Tell him I told you, I sent you, or the Semantic Mastery crew sent you if you go buy any stuff from him. Again, it's not an affiliate link. It's just a recommendation because he does good work. So highly recommend that. By the way, we're going to be integrating his services into our Serp Space dashboard. So any of you that that's a good cue, by the way, Adam, to drop Serp Space. But for those of you that don't have an account on our Serp Space application yet, you might want to get one. I mean, it's free. There's a free level, obviously. Then there's some upgrades that you can pay for if you want. But we are going to be bringing Marketer Center's services right into our dashboard, so they can be ordered and delivered and everything right within the dashboard of SerpSpace. That's something that we've already got in the works. Probably be released in a few weeks from now. I can't give you an exact date, but
yeah, and this might be a good time. We've had a few questions about SerpSpace, and just the 1-minute overview for everybody, in case you're unclear of exactly what it is. SerpSpace is the gathering for these various products that we're going to be offering and services, like Video Powerhouse, the network management. You know, instead of having these things scattered and all over the place and having like 10 different domains for these services, we're just putting them under the SerpSpace domain. So that's what it is, because some people I know have gotten confused. We mention it, and I get it, you know. But just so you know, SerpSpace is just going to be the marketplace where we have all of these offered, so that we can do things like playing off each other, their strong points. Like we have network management. Well, no kidding, we sell IFTTT networks. Like that's an obvious place to tie them together, so that we can offer those together instead of having to do things, you know, with spreadsheets and then transferring things. We're going to be able to do this a lot more seamlessly.
yeah, it's going to be easier to keep track of on your end, on our end, number one, and to manage the orders and the delivery of the orders, but also from a customer standpoint, you guys will be able to see the progress of your projects. Also, the networks will go into are actually like imported or brought right into the SerpSpace network monitoring app, so that you can see which one of your properties are actually posting properly, if anything goes down or is not posting properly, if your RSS feeds aren't working. It'll keep you much more, and it's all at like bird's eye view too, so you're able to see very quickly if something's not working correctly, that you can go in and fix it. Right now, I mean, guys, no kidding, I've got literally over, I think, 1,500 IFTTT networks that we manage, that I manage, and it's a nightmare. It's way too cumbersome, because we've done everything with spreadsheets, and that's just the way we did it. And that's part of the reason we developed the network monitoring part of SerpSpace anyways to begin with, was really originally just for that purpose, was a way to monitor the networks, because it just got out of hand really. And then we just continued to develop into so much more, and now really just it's going to be a SerpSpace, you know, our marketplace, SEO services marketplace. So anybody that doesn't have an account in it, go to it at serpspace.com, register a free account, and over the next couple months we're going to be releasing additional services right into the dashboard. Lisa Ray says, after syndicating a video through IFTTT network, how long do you wait before doing any advanced link building techniques? I just answered a question very similar to this, but was it in the mastermind? Do you guys remember? I think it was
yeah.
Jorg was the one that asked it. It was in the mastermind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was in the mastermind. Yeah.
That's okay. If, Adam, could you find that? Just do a search for Jorg Pattis, I guess.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
Find my reply to him about this very exact same question if you can, and then we can just post it on here. My reply, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because it pertains to this, and it's nothing too sensitive. So, anyways, Lisa, I'll get to it in just a minute. You'll see exactly what I posted. But typically, what I'll do is I run everything through my IFTTT networks. Depends on how much of a network you've got built out. Like if you just have a single ring, or you have a single 2-tier network, and that's it, and you haven't done any boosting, you might need to do you're probably going to need to do more. It just depends on the keyword and everything else. However competitive the particular keyword is that you're going after. I can tell you the way that I do things is I normally have at least 2 to 4 full 2-tier networks tied to a YouTube channel. In other words, when I upload a video or live stream a video, it gets syndicated out across 2 to 4 full 2-tier networks. Okay, so that's a lot of properties. Not only that, but at least the tier 1 networks have been boosted with additional link building, which is another service that we provide. Using FCS and GSA, or just GSA, whatever. Those are boosted. My tier 1 rings are usually boosted. Okay, so I don't really need to do a lot else most of the time, especially for most local videos. I'll upload the video or live stream it. We'll syndicate across my channel, and then I'll set up a crowd search campaign. Once I know that the video has been indexed, I'll set up a crowd search campaign to get it views. Okay, and that's the main reason why I do that. And I'll let it sit for about 2 weeks. And most of the time, by 2 weeks, it will have settled into a pretty good position. And if it needs additional boost, then that's when I'll start to go after, doing some additional stuff, which I like to do additional embeds and social embeds, Social embeds, guys, are like Twitter retweets, Pinterest repins, Tumblr reblogs. Those are embeds, but they're on social properties. Google Plus shares, okay? Google Plus comments will also help because it oftentimes will show the video on the commenters feed as well, so that becomes another embed. All right, so those are other social embeds that you can do. Were you going to say something, somebody? Thought I heard somebody speak up.
No, yeah. I was about to say that there is also a good idea to create additional videos like you were doing,
Yep.
Bradley, to push that video, because Liz is then mentioning that last Friday she syndicated out and now it's number 13, which is a pretty good position depending on competition and whatnot. But Lisa, you could
really
also,
good,
yeah. So what you could do is to make additional YouTube videos. In some cases we use Hangout Millionaire for that, but you can do them manually, to push that video to page number 1.
Yeah, and that was also mentioned in the comment that Adam should be posting. But yeah, that's what I was going to say. Additional embeds, social embeds, and other embeds, and then social signals as well. Getting more shares, likes, and stuff like that. Social engagement is views, right? So all that works. Lisa, also in a position 13, that means you're close to page 1 anyways, which means you have a really good chance of getting it to page 1, right? For it to be that close after just a couple weeks. So the other thing is to join the search, click, watch groups, because those, that way you get more engagement on your videos. And I know that you can rank a video with engagement alone if you've got enough of it. Okay, so that's something else I would recommend doing, is joining some of those groups and getting people to do a search view. I mean, CrowdSearch will do the search and click, and I think they'll even do comments now, but I haven't tested that. But if you want to get real people, engaging on your video by asking them to do so, you can, and that will certainly help. And then, like Hernan said, the other thing you can do is find related keywords, long tail generally, that you can find and do additional supporting videos that you put into a YouTube playlist, number 1, so that you're using the YouTube silo method. Number 2, you internal link from each one of those supporting videos up to the video that you're trying to rank. Okay? And so, like, if you've got additional 5 keyword phrases that are related or longer tail, whatever, of the same keyword that you're trying to rank for, you can use those to create additional videos to link up to the one that you have at number 13 right now. And so that's just something else. So you asked what the timeline is in the post that Adam should be posting. My reply to that, pretty much a very similar question. I give you my timeline. I usually wait about 2 weeks before I start doing anything after the initial syndication. Then I'll give it, after that I'll do a few days worth of additional pushing of some sort mentioned in that post. And then I'll also, give it about another 10 days or so, 7 to 10 days, and see where if it started to move again. And if it hasn't, then I'll continue to do some more stuff. I don't throw the kitchen sink at it right away, because I want to leave some things available that I can use, in the event that it needs a push later on. And what I found a lot of the times is that you can rank with less work than you think it's going to take, but you just need to be patient. Okay?
Yeah, and that comment's posted, and I tagged Lisa in it, so Lisa, you should be able to see that.
Cool. Braulio, haven't seen him in a minute. What's up, Braulio? He says, would creating Google embeds for each of the YouTube URL variations on a single video be a technique you would recommend? I don't know, to be honest with you. He says, for example, if I created 20 YouTube URL variations for a video, then 20 corresponding Google short links, and then 1,000 Web 2.0 embeds for each, you'd end up having 20,000 embeds on the same video. Have you guys tested this? Would that be too much spam? I've not tested it with the Google short links because, I just generally just syndicate the regular embed code, because it's all done automated from, like, I know there's the VidPenguin and there's some other, there's spreadsheets out there that'll do the same damn thing where it'll create a ton of different variations, and that has its place, there's no question. I just don't, a lot of that's not automated for me, so I don't use it.
Right.
So I haven't tested it, to be honest, Braulio. I don't know why you would want to do the Google short links for all of that. Just, test it is all I can say.
Yeah, test it.
Just test it is all I can say. I wouldn't go through the trouble of creating all those different short links. Although, unless it was specifically to test, and that's why I'm recommending you test it, maybe you share your results with us, because it'd be interesting to take two similar keywords, similar videos, and do just a massive embed campaign using the normal embed code or the variations of the embed code. And then it would be interesting to see the same campaign pretty much set up, but using the Google short links for those embed codes, and see if it makes a difference. I'd be interested to see if, what the results of that test were. Guys, remember, a one-time test like that is by no means definitive either. It's interesting to see the kind of data that you can pull from a test like that, but if you were to see significantly different results, let's just say the Google short links worked better for some reason, then you would have to test that several times across different keyword sets to see if you could get consistent results out of that. If that were the case, this is all hypothetical right now, but just so you know, when you set up a test and you see results from one test, like from the two test subjects, let's put it that way, and one of them outperforms the other, you can't say just a blanket statement, okay, well, this method works better. You have to test it again and again, a few times, and see, because sometimes it's just a fluke. That's part of what the algorithm is, and Google's algorithm. Terry Kyle, he calls it the random ranking factor. It's an algorithm, so there's always anomalies. Okay, so that's why it's important to make sure that if you are testing stuff, which you all should be, by the way, that you test, and when you see significant results within a particular test, that you test it again against some other controls. Okay. Anyways, I'm anxious to hear what happens with that, Braulio. Jim says he can't get app.net recipe to work from WordPress RSS feed. Any suggestions? Yeah, use it as a secondary recipe then, Jim. If there's a problem, guys, I've said this 100 times. Jim, you might not have heard this, so I'll say it again, and I'm not yelling at you, by the way. Don't spend a lot of time with particular recipes or any one property that's not posting properly. Like, what I'm saying is there's all too often we get comments in support or in the Facebook group or something with people saying that they can't get something to work and they've spent hours on it, and I'm saying, well, why? Why did you spend hours on trying to get one freaking property to work correctly? Instead, there's some workarounds for stuff, number one, or number two, just abandon that particular property for a few weeks and then come back, because oftentimes it's a problem with the actual Web 2.0 property or IFTTT itself. It's nothing that you're doing wrong, and it will most of the time fix itself. It just takes time for it to get fixed. It's just a bug that needs to get worked out. And so by you wasting a lot of time on it, you're not being productive in other areas. And so I often say, try fixing it once or twice, if a couple times, 2-3 times. If you can't get it to fix or to work properly, then if you can think of some workarounds. In this case, if it's just your WordPress RSS feed that's not triggering app.net, then why not use your Blogger RSS feed, or your Tumblr RSS feed, or your WordPress.com RSS feed, or Delicious, or Digo, something like that, to where one of those other feeds are posting to app.net, and so app.net becomes a tier 2 link instead of a tier 1 link. Okay? So, because that's a much quicker way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if you can spend time trying to get it to work, but if it's not working properly, use a different trigger source and then move on. If it still doesn't work, leave it alone. Just mark your calendar to come back and check it in 7 days or 10 days or something like that. And most of the time when you come back to check it, it'll work then. Okay? Brian says, when using Serp Shaker and posting to your blogs, if you had the blogs hit your IFTTT network, would that be too many posts hitting your Web 2s at once? Yeah, you get your IFTTT network. Most of your accounts would be terminated very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do it.
Yeah, I got up to, I think the maximum Serp Shaker sites that I made was 1 million pages. Now the thing is that will definitely time out or break something, Yeah. So you don't want to either break your IFTTT because everything has a limit. I mean, even IFTTT or the post, the host like Twitter, they won't allow you to post that many times.
Yeah. I haven't checked. I know there's a way to change to. Can you drip the dates on Serp Shaker?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
Depends on how many posts you're making, because again, I tried that as well, and WP Cron or Cron Job or whatever you're trying to do will work up to a set number of posts. And I think it has to do with how powerful your server is, because if you try to schedule, I don't know, 200,000 posts, you will end up with problems. It's likely that WordPress will miss the WP cron, or the schedule.
Yeah.
So have that in mind, Brian. It will depend on how aggressive you're trying to be with Serp Shaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I what I do for those type of sites, Brian, is I just publish the post like normal without an IFTTT network. And then if I'm going to be using that site for, guys, I treat those sites, and I know that other people have success with the Serp Shaker sites and the Lead Gadget sites where they make money for years with them, and that's great. I personally look at them as churn and burn type sites. So I put them up, I put the pages out there, get them indexed, and I might make some slight changes to the themes or to the layouts of the the theme layout to get them to convert. Oftentimes I'll just use an overlay or plugin to overlay a landing page right on top of the whole damn site so that it's a call to action or an opt-in form or whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And that's it. And I don't do anything else. But in the event that I was trying to do something else and make it a branded site or whatever, then I would publish all the posts first, then add an IFTTT network, and then manually post like I would any other normal site, so that I'm only publishing high quality, not spun content to my IFTTT network, hundreds or even thousands of posts at a time, because it doesn't make sense. You'll get your IFTTT network shut down. So if you want to connect it after your initial posts are done, then and your Shaker pages have been built and posted, then you can just do regular normal posts like you would any other blog, and they'll syndicate out and build backlinks back to your site. Mm-hmm. But personally, I wouldn't spend that much time on any one of them. I'd just crank out more sites is what I'd do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the key with Serp Shaker, Bradley. It's a volume, it's a numbers game.
That's right.
So I found out that they are great sites or feeder sites, sites that will allow you to bring traffic to another site, or to bring traffic to an offer, that you don't care about much. And they work great on foreign markets, where the algorithm is not that tight. I have completely dominated markets, financial markets, on Scandinavian, for example, or Norwegian or Danish or even Spanish, So for foreign, since the algorithm is not that tight, then you can get away with murder pretty much. So they work really well.
Yeah, that, and the other thing is, just crank out more of those sites, just like you said. I use the sites mainly for research and development, like to identify or for discovery, I should say, research and discovery. In other words, I use those sites to identify where the low-hanging fruit is, the stuff that I can rank for with nothing other than on-page. Because then I can go in, and once I've identified that using the Serp Shaker sites, or in my case I use Lead Gadget because I have access to that, and that does the same thing Serp Shaker does, except it builds entire sites. And so, I use it to identify low-hanging fruit. And then I'll go in and build out more traditional type stuff, or Web 2s, or YouTube videos, or something like that, to try to extract as much traffic from those opportunities as possible. And then, like I said, usually with those type of sites, I'll just overlay a landing page that I've set up that has one specific call to action. Either call a phone number, submit, opt-in, submit an opt-in form, submit your email to download a PDF or whatever, so that I can build an email list, or fill out an opt-in form, a contact request form if it's for like a contractor. That's like an estimate request form or whatever that gets sent to the contractor. Whatever it may be, it's usually I overlay because those pages themselves that are built by the Serp Shaker, they're not set. Let's be honest, they're not the highest quality pages, because you're using spun content across thousands of pages at one time, hundreds or even thousands of pages. And so my point is that it's better, in my opinion, just to get the pages to rank and then overlay something on top of it that is set up for conversions. So, anyways, Stathis, I think I said that right. After purchasing the Tier 1 branded ring, what if I already have previous Twitter and Tumblr accounts? Can it hurt my money site? Also, if yes, should I better edit the recipes to match my existing social channels? No, it's not going to hurt anything. The only time you can ever get in, it can cause you problems. State this: if you have a Google Plus local page, and then you create another Google Plus page, a local page, not a business page. A business page is fine, even if you have a local page. And there's a difference, guys. A local page will show an address, and it doesn't have a links section that you can add your profile links to. Okay, a Google Business page does not have an address, and it also has the profile link section. So there's a difference. If you don't want to create two Google Plus local pages, you can have a local page and a business page. That's okay. So that's the only thing you really got to worry about. Now, if you have a branded ring, if you've got a particular brand and you already have some properties that are branded, then I recommend that you submit your order. If you're ordering from us, I mean, you submit your order with those branded properties so that we can add those into the network instead of building you new ones. Okay, but you got to contact us ahead of time using our support desk to tell us that when you make the order, because then you have to submit the Google Drive file, the spreadsheet, the same spreadsheet that's in the IFTTT training. Okay, you got to submit your details in that format because that's what my team uses, and that's how they're going to deliver it anyway. So if you fill that out, the workbook template, the IFTTT account workbook template, fill that out with the details that you currently have, and then send that to us in a support ticket when you place your order, then we'll make sure that we use those in your actual network build. Okay? That's a great pre-sale question, and that's what our support is for. Chick says, I'm going to be replacing an existing site with a new design using the exact same permalinks. The site currently averages 5,000 visitors per month. Client is concerned that there will be drop-off in traffic. What should I tell her? Tell her
There
that
will be.
yeah, there most likely will be. If you're just doing a new design, if you're just replacing the site with a new design, if you're just replacing the design, I mean, chances are, if you're not changing the content and stuff much, you'll still see a little bit of like some bouncing, some dancing, but it should settle back. You should, it should settle back, and it shouldn't be that long that you'd see dancing. Now, if you're doing significant site like content changes and stuff, even if you're keeping the same permalinks, there's a lot of other variables there that you need to consider to, when doing so. So
it's like unless you're swapping even base, I don't know, even stock themes or something, something's going to change. So
that's correct. So I would just make sure that you you let the client know that if that's what they want to do, and sometimes it's necessary or recommended that you change the theme of a site, especially if it's outdated and that sort of thing. But there's going to be some dancing. It happens, and you just got to try to. I wouldn't change a whole lot of content structure if that's the case. But you'll get it back, Chick. If you know what you're doing, you'll get it back. Okay. Secondly, what is your favorite source for claiming and maintaining local citations? Well, I can tell you. Let's see. Marketer Center. We just talked about that. I'm wondering if he's talking about like if I do them manually, because I just don't do them manually anymore at all. But the two providers that I like are Marketer Center, and then the other one, and Adam, get ready to drop this one too, probably the highest quality citation service I've ever seen is Loganix. And we've got a link for him, semanticmastery.com/Loganix. It's Loganix. And that's probably the highest quality link building or citation building service I've ever used. I mean that. Those guys are really, really good. They're more expensive than like Marketer Center, for example. And don't get me wrong, Marketer Center is damn good. But what I like about Loganix is they will do the citations, and then they'll do link building campaigns to the citations through like their own private blog networks that they manage and maintain. Really, really high quality. Plus, they have a citation cleanup service that costs $400, but it's totally worth it. It is the most in-depth, comprehensive citation cleanup service I've ever come across. I've used it several times now for some clients that have had citation issues, some of which I've hired and trained outsourcers to go out and do the outreach to the directories to try to get inconsistent citations cleaned up or deleted. And we've had no success with a big portion of them. And then I sent the stuff over to Loganix, and they worked on it for 90 days. And they'll send you beautiful detailed reports with how many times they contacted, the dates that they contacted, the replies that they got from the directories. I mean, it's very, very detailed. I was really impressed with those guys. So if you have the budget for it, Loganix is the best route to go, in my opinion. If you're going on an economy budget, then I would just stick with Marketer Center. Those are the two that I highly recommend. I also, Yext has come a long way. I know that there's a lot of people that don't like Yext. I didn't like Yext for a long time either, but I actually signed back up with them as a reseller again several months ago. And Yext is actually much better than it used to be about a year and a half, 2 years ago. What I do like about Yext is if you have to make a change with something, it will update about 140 citations in a matter of about 2 weeks. It's like a lot of citations will get updated almost instantly. Like the moment you change the data and hit save, it'll go out and change them across. They've got like a partnership, or they've got API access or whatever with like 140 different directory sites, most of the big ones as well. And so when you make a change, it updates very, very quickly. So Yext is if you can afford it, the reseller service, I think it's $400 to become a reseller, and then you get to sell the Yext services for $340. Well, they'll sell them to you for $350 basically, and then you can upsell them to clients for $150 or $500, something like that. They cost $600, I think, retail, and so it works out pretty well because it's just a matter of updating data in one location, and then it will automatically update everywhere else. So that works really well too if you've got some citation issues, inconsistent citation issues. If you go run it through Yext and then sign up there, or purchase their subscription, and again, it's a yearly deal. So it's like, as a reseller, it's $350 for a year to maintain those citations for a year. Okay. Are you guys fans of Social Link Machine by Andy Black? I've never used it, Chick. There are so many different plugins that do what IFTTT does, but the reason why I've always stuck with IFTTT is because it's not a plugin that I have to worry about staying updated. It's not something that I've had other plugins that do similar things that have caused conflicted with stuff on the website, on the WordPress sites. So my fallback has just always been IFTTT. So I just stopped testing these kind of plugins now because I can accomplish what I want with the networks that we build. So I just haven't used it. Have you used it, Hernan?
No. Sorry, Chick. I'm not familiar with it. The only plugin that I'm using it for those kind of things is Snap, which is social network auto poster, which I think is great. But then again, when you're posting to many, and I'm assuming that it will happen with a lot of plugins. And when you're pushing, tier networks, and when you're pushing like 20 or 30 platforms that we are doing with IFTTT, it can become a bit heavy on your server. So it does happen with Snap, and it's free. The free version is great, but
the pro version's worth it.
Yeah, the pro version is awesome. It's awesome. It will allow you to post to more than one account per property. So
yeah,
Snap
and it's cheap too. I think it's like, or when I bought it like a year, 18 months ago. It's like $40 or $50, I think, for unlimited sites. So
yeah, it's awesome. It has the downside that if you're pushing, it will allow spin tags and whatnot, like the Semantic Mastery RSS plugin does. But the problem with Snap again is that it can become heavy on your server, and sometimes it will time out if you are pushing too many properties. So that's why we keep doing IFTTT.
That's right. Yeah, and that's the thing. I've tried almost every one of those plugins under the sun, at least up until about a year ago. And there's a bunch of them, guys, and there's only a few that stayed updated properly by the developers. Like Social Networks, Auto Poster, Snap, that's one of them I know that constantly gets updated. But a lot of the other ones that are fly-by-night plugin developers, the shit just sucks. So I just stopped using them because I always fell back to IFTTT anyways. And so instead of going through all the trouble of learning new plugins and in trying to set up new properties that maybe weren't in the IFTTT networks, I just stick with that because it works. And it's, if something's not broke, then don't fix it. So. All right, I think the next question, let me copy this, Adam, if you could drop this at the top of the page. Okay. Kevin says, guys, a few questions here. Do no-follow links pass trust flow, citation flow, or only PA and DA? No, they don't pass trust flow. They might pass citation flow, but they don't pass trust flow. And that's what I just dropped the link for Adam to drop at the top of the page. This is right on Majestic's blog, which, by the way, guys, if you have questions about trust flow and citation flow, go spend some time on Majestic's blog because it's their service. And, you know, I don't mind answering the question. I'm just letting you guys know. Oftentimes we overlook, like, the most obvious place to find answers. For example, we get questions a lot that if you go to Google and type in your question, you'll get the answer. And it drives me crazy because it's like, okay, you want me to just go Google this for you? But so in this case, and I'm not being a smartass directly to you, by the way, go to Majestic's blog because they've got a lot of really good posts talking about how citation flow and trust flow are calculated, and things that can affect them, such as this article here. And if you look at item number 7, it says we do not pass trust flow through no-follow links. If someone decides to no-follow links on another site, the effect will show up further down the line. That said, maybe trust flow does not pass directly through a no-follow link. However, you can influence trust flow, and we've proven that. Marco, if you're on, you can speak to it.
Yeah, I'm here. The thing is that it depends on how the website is set up, because we've just noticed that some websites are set up as no index, but they have do follow links, and that won't pass trust flow.
Okay.
I mean, we've tested it, and we've come up with time and again it just absolutely will not pass trust flow. But we do, yeah. There are several ways where if you do embeds, and if you do iframes, and if you do all kinds of little manipulation taxes that we have in RYS Academy. So Adam, this might be a good time to post a link. I mean, that's what RYS Academy is all about. If you want total trust flow manipulation, go check out RYS Academy. Find out about trust flow so that you guys know that we know what we're talking about, and then decide on what it is that you want to do. But no, you cannot get trust flow from a no-follow. And sometimes even if it is do follow, you cannot get trust flow. You have to really do your research and make sure that it's indexed and do follow, and that you can actually index the URL where you're dropping the link, the do follow link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on some points, you know, what's funny is that you will set up an IFTTT ring, for example, for a website. And many of those links, contextual links or profile links, they will be no follow, and you'll end up with higher trust flow at the end of the day, you know. So yeah, it's all about manipulation and what types of links you're using to point out your money site.
Yeah, and so again, guys, go spend some time literally on Majestic's blog. They've got a lot of really good information there. Also, Jacob Hagberg. He's he's a friend of us as well, of ours as well. That he's the one that runs IndexFair, and what's the other one that he runs? Outsource Ranking, and he does a lot of work with trust flow stuff. He's got some really killer articles on trust flow and topical trust flow. Go look him up, Jacob Hagberg. He's got some really good articles on that stuff too. So, but should we only build links to properties that Majestic says have strong trust flow for the URL and not the subdomain root? So if I make a blog comment on a high trust flow news blog, but that specific article URL trust flow is junk, will I get the trust flow boost from the main site or the crap trust flow from that specific article's trust flow? Well, that's the flow metrics of the URL. Okay, so like for example, if you're inside of Majestic and you're looking at the backlink to like one of your properties, you're going to see the domain flow metrics and then the URL flow metrics. Okay, so obviously you're going to want to try to get your links on from the URL on pages or posts that have URL flow metrics that are high. That's obvious, but that doesn't mean that you don't want to get links on, because for example, if somebody posts a new post, it's not going to have any flow metrics at all. The domain will, but the URL won't. The page metrics won't be there. So does that mean you don't want to link from it? No, not necessarily. In fact, the fact that the domain has good metrics means that the page has a likelihood or a chance of gaining you know, gaining a higher metric anyways, okay? But what I would do in that situation is, first of all, is it topically relevant? That's the most important thing. All right, make sure it's relevant. And if the domain itself has some higher trust flow metrics, have, you know, some good metrics, then I would absolutely still want to get a link on it, because then you can do things to boost that if you wanted to. Okay? So I look more, first of all, relevancy than anything, because, you know, I'd rather have a lower trust flow link on a topically relevant page than a higher trust flow link on a non-topically relevant page. If that makes sense. Okay.
He also needs to check the internal linking, because if that specific page has links coming to it from other articles that have trust flow, or from the home page, or from anywhere where trust flow is being built, and as you said, as long as it's on topic, so that you have topical trust flow, then that page, even though it might have low metrics or no metrics, is going to eventually catch up to all of the other pages. So there's tons of things that you need to do. You can't just look at a page and say, oh, well, this is crappy trust flow, I don't want my link in there, as you mentioned.
Yeah. He says, I set up a profile with my link on it on a popular site, but when I take my profile URL and put it into my browser, it 302s back to the popular site's homepage. Will this URL still pass trust flow, citation flow, PA8 at my money site, even though there's a 302 link, or can I build links to it like normal? No, 302 links, well, at least it doesn't pass link equity as far as like page rank. I don't think trust flow or citation flow passes through a 302 either.
No. No, I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't think any. I think it's pretty much like a dead stop at the 302.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can still pass some link shoes, but it's temporary, so it will stop at some point.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a temporary 302. It's a temporary redirect.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste my time with it. Okay. Where can I download the Semantic Mastery RSS plugin? Well, the free version's on our site. Just go to semanticmastery.com/RSS-recipes. It's right on, and it's also in the PDF that you downloaded if you got the PDF with the IFTTT SEO Academy. There's a link to it in there. But it's semanticmastery.com/RSS-recipes. Okay, but guys, don't ask us to support the free plugin. It's free. If it doesn't work, most likely it's your host has an outdated PHP version. But don't send us in support tickets to support the free plugin, because, you know, it's free. If you guys don't like it, don't use it. Use Yoast. Okay. Most of the time, if it's not working, it's because your host has got problems with the PHP version. All right. Caesar says, we got to hurry up. I didn't realize we only got about 10 more minutes, and we've got a lot of other questions. Caesar says, I use a plugin to create multiple pages, city+service on same page, no silo, okay, on a branded domain in order to test which cities would be easiest to rank for in a given country. That's like what we do with Serp Shaker or Lead Gadget, so I know what you're doing, Caesar. That's good. I actually ranked most of them between pages 1 and 3 in Google. Okay. The plugin creates duplicate pages and just swaps out the city names. It sounds like Serp Shaker. I don't know why I didn't name the plugin, but it sure sounds like it. I know that even though the sites are ranking for now with duplicate content, it may not be wise to put in the effort of pushing them up via backlinks, because eventually they can get slapped because it's duplicate content. I totally agree, Caesar. The article I use is not bad quality, about 500 words. My question is, now that I know I can rank in those cities without anything more than just on-page SEO, should I create a subdomain for each of the cities that ranked with the service page, simple silo, and 301 page, and 301 the page that is currently ranking to the service page on the subdomain with the original content? You could, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, there's really no reason. If you don't have any backlinks to that page that's already ranking that has pretty much the duplicate content with other than the geo modifiers being changed, then what's the point of 301ing it? You know what I mean? It ranked already with pretty much duplicate content, okay, with no backlinks. So if you go create a subdomain site that you're targeting for each one of those areas, that the pages that are currently ranked with no off-page SEO, you're probably going to rank those anyways, because especially if you spend a little bit more time with proper on-page SEO, you're probably going to outrank what you already had anyways. And if there's no backlinks built to that existing page, then why even 301 it? It's not going to have any benefit at all. Okay, so save the time. Don't bother with it. Okay. My theory is if I was able to rank once, I can manually spin that same article for each city subdomain and rank it again without having to worry about duplicate content. Then I can start doing all the off-page stuff to the subdomain without the risk of getting penalized. Or should I just rewrite the article for each of the pages that are already ranked? Would rewriting an entire page after it is ranked on page 1 mess with the ranking? Yes, it can. I would go with the subdomain route personally. That's what I would do. That's just the method that I like to use. It works really well. It protects the site from penalties if any of the other sites or pages got penalized. So that's what I would do. Okay. I would definitely rewrite it though. I mean, it's up to you. You can do. I don't like to use spun content on money sites, guys. For Serp Shaker pages and stuff, that's fine. But once I've identified areas that I can rank for, I go out and build traditional sites with normal type content that was written, not spun garbage. Blah blah blah. And we just talked about that earlier.
Yeah,
Also,
and the main point.
go ahead.
Sorry, Bradley, but the main point of the content of any website is to convert the visitor into a purchaser.
That's right.
And you want to achieve that with spun content. We say that time and time again because usually when somebody lands into a website with spun content, they just leave, because you're not solving any problem. So that's the main point of any website's content, to turn those visitors into leads or into calls or into purchasers, whatever you want to do.
To take whatever action you want them to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Also, because remember, guys, ranking does not equal money. Ranking does not equal conversions or sales or leads. I mean, that's the thing. And people often think, well, if as long as I can rank, I can make money. No, that's not true, because you got to have a compelling reason for somebody to submit their data or to pick up the phone or to spend money or whatever the case may be. So you've got to consider that as well. Ranking is part of it, yeah, but it's not.
I always tell my coaching students that ranking is the easy part. Then you have to sell your stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. He says also, if I do another lead gen site using the same strategy, if I curate the content with attribution instead, would that be considered duplicate content? It would still be the same content on each page, but curated. Would that make a difference? Yeah. I mean, again, if for testing purposes or for discovery, to identify, fine. But for money sites, I don't recommend you do that. Again, treat money sites like long-term assets, guys. Don't take shortcuts. It's okay to take shortcuts for testing purposes and to identify areas that you can, work in, that you can, get quick results in. That's fine. I encourage you to do so. But treat your money sites as long-term assets. So spend some time, make sure it's original content. Not duplicate content. Like I said, guys, treat your assets like they're going to be around for a long time, because they can be if you treat them as such.
All right, so we only got a couple minutes. Let's see if we can pick out a few short ones here.
All right. Scott says, I'm just going to go right up the line, man. First come, first serve. We'll try to run through them very quickly, the next handful of them, guys, because we're going to wrap it up in about 5 minutes. In doing YouTube silo playlists, are there any unintended consequences in doing a second siloed playlist on the same channel? Or maybe a non-siloed playlist? Will it hurt the siloed channel? No, it won't hurt anything. No, Scott, it won't hurt anything. I mean, YouTube gives us playlists for us to use, and I think they're totally underused, so use them. Dan says, could you show us exactly where to input the schema data into the source code for a WordPress site? I know exactly what to input, but not exactly sure where it goes. I'm a code dummy. It depends on what kind you're using, Dan. Schema.org markup, the standard microdata markup, is done right within the post body. Okay? I don't recommend that because most themes are going to strip that out anyways. But if you're going to be doing JSON LD, that goes into the header, the head section of the pages. All right, so it depends on what type of microdata you're using. Schema.org is markup, but what type of markup are you using? Are you using microdata or are you using JSON LD? So again, it depends. All right. I just saw another question from Earl that was up here about, can I explain JSON LD? I don't know what the org part is, but JSON LD and using it to put local business schema in the header. You mentioned in the RYS case study. Yeah, I mean, we did a full training on it inside the mastermind, Earl. I can point you to a couple places that you can do some additional reading about it, and then you can spend some time reading about it, because I certainly can't cover that here. Just 1 second. There's two articles here from Built Visible, which is another outstanding I'm going to drop these in, Adam, if you can post them.
Mm-hmm.
This is another outstanding blog, guys. Richard Baxter, he does a really, really good job with his blog posts. I really, really like this guy. Anyways, there's a lot of information in here about microdata and JSON LD markup. And then there's also one here from whitespark.ca that can help you out as well. Okay. All right. Let's see. Braulio says, when I start building a YouTube silo and scheduling live events, I also fire an embed campaign before streaming the video. That's fine. After I stream the live event, get them indexed, and some of the more longer tail keywords videos easily rank on page 1 of YouTube, but not in the Google Serps. I'm having a bit of difficulty getting the videos to show up in the Google Serps. What would you recommend as a first line of attack here, since I've already done embeds, Twitters, tweets, etc.? Search and clicks really works well for Google for videos. And on patience too. I've had videos, guys, that I've uploaded and I've been able to rank, number 1 in YouTube, and they wouldn't show up in the first 5 pages of Google or even 10 pages sometimes of Google for 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, boom, they show up and they do well. For example, I'll show one. I don't know, we got to wrap it up, but let's just take a look at this one. If any of you took our Wirecast webinar, you know that this was one of the videos this is the video that I live streamed in that Wirecast webinar, the free webinar, if you guys haven't seen it. And look, I'm in position number 4 now for SEO Charlottesville, VA. And this video, it took, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks before it really even, it was like on page 4 in Google, but like, I ranked number 1 in YouTube, but it was like it was page 4 in Google, and it took about maybe 6 weeks or so, maybe even 8 weeks before it ended up finally ranking on page 1. I did a couple of additional things, but not much. And mostly what I did was search click campaigns. I use crowd search for all this stuff because it's automated. But if you don't have crowd search, you can get people to do it through the search click watch groups. Engagement is what mainly ranked this. I did a bunch of embeds originally with the initial live stream because it went through my networks. Then I did some additional social embeds like what you just talked about, Braulio. And then all I did since that point was I set up crowd search campaigns, but I was using referral traffic instead of doing traffic direct from the SERPs to the video. I'm doing traffic from the SERPs through a tweet or through a Tumblr post or a WordPress post that then clicks to the video. So it's referral traffic. And I was able to rank it for that. And look, it's number 4 in Google. So, all right. Sorry, guys, we got to wrap it up. We got 2 minutes until masterclass. And we're going to be covering the LaunchJack case study this week, and then we're going to make an announcement about masterclass and plan out the next few weeks today as well. So everybody, want to see you in masterclass in just a few minutes. Thanks for everybody being here. Sorry we didn't get to all your questions. First come, first serve. So get your questions posted early. We usually have the events posted now by Friday at the latest, by Friday afternoon. So if you guys have questions that are nagging at you or that we missed, post them on Friday so that they definitely get in line to be answered. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.